Austria is the birthplace of Schnitzel and Schwarzenegger. But what about Stadien? What are their stadions like? Let's find out. We start off with the biggest stadium in the league and certainly one of the better ones. Originally Stadion, it is now named after 28 Black, which I assumed was a betting company, but it's actually an energy drink brand. This is quite a coincidence because the design of the stadium is basically the same as Red Bull Arena in New Jersey, and from my understanding Red Bull is an energy drink brand as well. Without the corporate branding of Red Bull Arena, it might not be quite as vibrant, but it's looking pretty clean. Situated adjacent to the River Rhine is Planet Pure Stadion, a fairly unassuming stadium overall, but one thing that sets it apart is that it has its own chapel where you can pray to God that your team wins. I'm not sure how that works if the other team supporters do the same. God's just sitting up there going, "Look guys, I don't speak German, alright? No sprechen die Deutsch. Just let the best team win, yeah?" I guess God is South African? Okay then. Generali Arena was completely renovated a few years back, and now the interior reflects the club's colours perfectly. Not just the seats, but even the perimeter of the field is purple, something you're more likely to see at a tennis or basketball court. Looks great. The old seats may have gone, but what has remained is the large cell tower in the northeast corner of the stadium. I feel like there's got to be an interesting story about why that's there. I did try to find out to no avail. Raiffeisen Arena. You might be wondering why a club from Linz is playing in a small town called Pasching. Well, a new stadium is being built for the club as we speak, and they'll be moving in next season. For now, this place, which is actually very close to the city of Linz, is an alright venue. I especially like the roof of the western stand. It's made of wood, which is rare these days. Probably due to the fact that termites, woodworms, and fire exist. Allianz Stadion is the newest stadium in the league, and it certainly looks the part with that bold green exterior. Not just that, there's also a rather large aluminium tube-like structure on the western side. Must have been surplus material from the Large Hadron Collider over in neighbouring, Swaziland. Although the stadium is pretty much brand new, it was built on the site of the club's previous stadium, and there's actually a remnant of that stadium remaining. A floodlight tower in the southeast corner that doesn't quite fit in. Quite similar to Generali Arena in that respect. Just a stone's throw from the border with Germany, we have Red Bull Arena. Not the one I was talking about earlier, obviously. Although from afar, the exterior consisting of several shades of grey doesn't look that interesting. It is. A wooden facade wraps its way around most of the stadium. Once again, you don't see that very often. Another interesting feature is the roof that floats above the stadium itself, allowing for ventilation that helps keep spectators cool during those steaming hot Austrian winters. In an odd coincidence, Cashpoint Arena is basically the exact same distance from the German border as Red Bull Arena. Around 1.5 kilometers, or for those that use miles, that's a little under 1 Fahrenheit. Currently the stadium is in a transition phase. It has undergone a bit of a redevelopment in recent years, and eventually the one stand that stands out will look like the rest, becoming a fully enclosed stadium. Merkur Arena. This was actually named after the aforementioned Arnold Schwarzenegger for quite some time. They eventually changed the name because Arnold allowed the execution of someone whilst he was governor of California. I can understand the outrage. With a name like the Terminator, you would have expected clemency. Anyway, the stadium itself isn't the most interesting. It's pretty symmetrical. The exterior consists of mostly exposed concrete, but is perfectly serviceable. Josko Arena. Josko, I believe, is a manufacturer of doors, windows, etc. And in a bizarre turn of events, this stadium features both doors and windows. Eerie. Once more, we have a fully enclosed stadium with a covered single-tiered stand on each side, with some small sections of terracing. Interestingly, the capacity of the stadium is about the same as the town's population. Profiteal Arena. Oh, I love profiteals, especially in a croquet bush. This is situated in a town of just 6,000 people, so once more the capacity is quite similar. It has an interesting mix of permanent and temporary stands, all of them elevated for a good view, and all of them featuring a roof. It's not pretty, but at least the backdrop kinda is. Lavental Arena. Your immediate reaction might be, oh, it's another boring multi-purpose stadium. But there's more than meets the eye. The Western Grandstand is fairly modern, having been built just a decade ago, and has a unique double-tiered design that is, well, I guess it counts as two separate stands, as the top tier is on stilts more or less. Pretty cool. Tivoli Stadion Tirol. The exterior in some areas looks incredibly stripped down and basic. That's because the stadium was designed to be expandable, and has in the past been temporarily expanded for the Euros. The same goes for other stadiums in the league, but it was most noticeable here. Speaking of the past, it was originally the home of FC Tirol, a team that, after playing at the stadium for just 2 years, ceased to exist. On the inside, they kept the stadium quite simple, but you can't blame them for wanting that alpine backdrop to be the star of the show. And those were the stadiums of the Austrian Bundesliga. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, have a good one.